Hello and welcome back everybody to the Foodbuild factory, where today we're going to take a look at the Mothman Zealot, this guy over here, and this is going to be a Berserkers-Stealth-Commando. Let's get right into it. Oh, look who we have there. Well, I'm just starting off with some gameplay, and I'm going to do that relatively quickly so that our super mutant friend behind us doesn't catch up with us. So first thing we're probably going to do is we're going to kill some robots up there. So a little bit about this character. As you can see here, we're wearing armor, which does contradict a little bit with the idea that we're going to be a Berserkers character. But the most likely approach to a Berserkers character in this game isn't that you run around without any armor, because what you can do is you can wear your armor to the point where it's broken, and if you don't unequip it, the armor actually stays equipped. And what that means is that the legendary effects of the armor still work on your character, even though the damage and energy resistance doesn't work. Well, what this means is we can go, what we did here was using 4 chameleon pieces. 2 of them aren't even broken at this point. I had very low levels, like level 15 versions, sorry. And those only give me like, I think 9 damage resistance a piece. And the 2 we have left, we mitigate by using, I just tried to get addicted to Med-X and Psycho, which, when you have an addiction, both lead to you having -10 DR. So I'm going to show you really quick. We have no damage resistance at the moment, only 6 energy resistance, which shouldn't be a problem for us. Our weapon of choice here is only level 40. Actually, it's a 1-star Berserker's radium rifle, but as you can see, it's still quite effective. And by the way, I really like that we're having a red storm here. It really fits the character. The whole atmosphere is going to do us very well. And back to the topic. What I did, just stood around low-level areas. I stood directly in front of Vault 76, where the little liberators are. I chucked on Born Survivor, so I use a stim pack every time I get below, I think 30% health it was, and went AFK for some time and left my character in-game shot by liberators that slowly wore down my armor. So we are running around with 2 broken pieces. We have no chest piece on, and we have 2 limbs that are still intact, but over time they will break too. Things you don't do is you never want to unequip your armor, for the simple reason because you can't re-equip it afterwards. And that's going to mean that you have to go through the whole process of letting your armor break afterwards again, which is just tedious. This also means we're basically locked out of nuke zones with this character. I mean, obviously you can just hop into a power armor and use a furious heavy weapon or something, which should work, but on the other hand, there's not really anything in nuke zones that we need. We don't need flux for this character, so yeah, other than the experience or the rare encounters like the Wendigo Colossus, there shouldn't be anything in us for in nuke zones anyways. So as you can see here, the character is quite effective. Obviously, once we're getting in trouble, we're really in trouble because we have no damage resistance. We do have some of the survivability perks on, which I'm going to show you later, but you basically have no trouble whatsoever to stay hidden all the time. Like, you can basically bump into characters every now and then. It's not a problem at all, and it makes it quite of a challenge. Yeah, you really want to stay in stealth all the time. I do have as a backup weapon another Berserkers-Commando weapon, handmade, which is obviously just going to be more powerful, but I chosen this weapon because it fits the style quite well. And one thing to mention here is, as I already said, we're playing a cultist character, which is a bit of a problem because, as most of you should be aware, in Fallout 76 the cultists aren't a joinable faction. In fact, they are fundamentally hostile towards every player. And the way we're going to approach this is that we are quite a fundamentalist. Like, we're not exactly a part of the cultists like you would know them. Simply for the reason that we think every Mothman we see has to be killed in order to free his soul. This might sound a bit silly, but it's just necessary for your headcanon, you know, that you can justify your character being at constant war basically with other cultists. And you really hope that sooner or later the other cultists are going to follow your way too. But as for the moment, you're just going to stick with it and have to kill them on sight. But as you are always in stealth, you can just avoid them. You can even take part in their rituals by just sneaking into their camps. They're not really perceptive. And yeah, back to the gameplay. As you can see here, we're basically dropping everything very quickly. It's not a problem at all. And now that we're having bit better lighting conditions, let me show you the character again real quick. I went for this new ghillie armor on wood pieces because I think it fits the character quite well. Makes him this tribal looking guy. The radium rifle, I don't know what it is about the radium rifle. Maybe the fact that it was used by zealots and this crazy maniacs in Far Harbor, but I really think this weapon is a perfect fit for such cultist-like individuals. What I'm having on is the as a headpiece is the cultist mask, the ritual mask I think it's called. And what I like about the character is that because we don't need a chest piece, we can really have this berserker look even though we have some armor on. It really fits the character quite well. The Mothman backpack, if you have that, would probably be a good fit for this character, but I choose the ghillie backpack. I'm sorry, by the way, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly. I don't know how you say ghillie or ghillie, I'm not sure. So, as you can see here, we're using VETs oftentimes, but we can also go into free aim for little bursts, but a radium rifle really shines in VETs. It doesn't consume a lot of AP. Oh, look what we have here. Now this is bad as we are I'm not sure why we are detected at the moment. So yeah, there's quite a horde here. This just went a little bad for us. It usually goes better. If you can stay stealthy, you can take down the Scorch Beast quite quickly, but there's also an unusually large horde of Scorch here. Okay. Quite action-packed, in fact. So let's just wait till our action points refresh a little. The good thing about this character is it's pretty ammo efficient, as all stealth commandos are, basically. I heard rumors that, yeah, well, that was enough. Okay. Well. So, basically what you saw here was the downsides of our character. Being a berserker means if we're going to get hit, we're going to die pretty quickly. So, but I'm just bad at gaming, so that you should keep in mind. Like if you're a more advanced player, you probably have no problem to stay hidden. I was just yeah, I didn't really pay attention and made some mistakes. As you can see here, that's how it should have gone. I also feel like since the latest patch, Berserkers weapons have some kind of bug where sometimes their benefits aren't really counted. So sometimes the extra damage doesn't really apply to the weapon, which is a bit sad. But this shouldn't be staying forever. As you can see here though, within 2 magazines we managed to take down the Scorched Beast. Could even go faster. So I think he's going to land here, exactly. As you can see here, we're basically invisible. Well, not only basically, but we're literally invisible with our armor. Well, anyways, I think you've seen that it goes down quite easily. It's not that big of a problem. So, going on, we're going to see what spawns over there. And I think we're going to end the video killing some people. But let's see here first. What you can really do with this character is you can really go all in on base building. Like, there's a lot of good base builders in this game, and I'm quite sure people could come up with some crazy cultist builds. As you can see here, that's compared to free aim really shines here. Like, free aim, yeah, you can do it for basic mobs, but you first of all gonna need a lot more ammo, unless you're really skilled. And secondly, it's just, yeah, the weapon has quite a harsh recoil. I'm surprised, like, I thought that there should be some more ghouls here. Like, it's pretty unusual that there are only 2 enemies. But, well, alright, there's one. In a perfect world on the weapon, I would like to have a reflex sight, by the way. But as some of you are probably aware, the radium rifle is pretty notorious in the way of when it comes to upgrades. From what I've heard, the problem is that, you know, in this game, every time you scrap a weapon, you have a chance to unlock a random mod for it. And the percentages, it works the same with armor, and the percentages on armor are just way lower than on weapons. And for some reason, the developers probably attached the armor unlock probability to the weapon, and therefore you need to scrap like 20 weapons, usually 20 radium rifles, in order to unlock a new mod, which is really expensive. You need a lot of nuclear waste, a lot of screws. It's probably not worth the hassle, but what you can do if you find a radium rifle, there's a lot of people online that, well, they're spec'd into, or they're specialized into crafting and such. And usually if you ask around if someone's there who can mod your weapon, you can basically give them a little fee and they will repair your stuff. Or mod your weapon like you want it. And well, if it's a bloodied explosive one, you need to be very carefully, because they could just steal it. But honestly, with a Berserker's weapon, they probably don't really, or aren't really interested in the weapon anyway, so the risk is pretty low. By the way, as I said, I used addictions to make our DR go down, which leads to us having debuffs to our agility and strength, which usually you should be a bit stronger and even a bit more stealthy. Probably not noticeable, but just something I wanted to make clear. Once all your armor is broken, you can just take a dictal and it's fine. As for under armor, you have to pay attention because you probably won't be able to use shielded under armor unless you find an under armor that has only 20 damage resistance when it's shielded. So you can do the same trick with the addictions I just used, but you don't really need it. Like, the only thing that would really fit is something that boosts your agility, which our long johns here, or radar ladders I think they are, would do. But as you can see, you're stealthy enough, no problem at all. This is the situation where this weapon really shines, or this build. You have quite some range. With concentrated fire, your hit chance isn't really a problem, because, well, in the worst scenario you just miss some shots, but sooner or later you're going to hit. And with one rank of Gun Fu we can really clear through areas like this. So this will be the last thing we're doing. I'm going to just storm this base here, kill some blood eagles. Well, let's go into first person. Really love the look of the weapon. I'm not sure why, but okay, here we got detected, but as you will see, we're getting back into caution really quickly. At least we should. I think we're fine to move on. I'm not sure what exactly is happening today, because usually I have less problems staying hidden. Might be that the server is a bit laggy or something, I'm not sure. Ooh, even a legendary. Well, level 39, but who gives? So, as I said earlier, for our weapon we're only using a 1-star Berserker's radium rifle, and it's even only level 40. So in a perfect world what you want to have is either a Berserker's faster fire rate, less VATS cost one for really good damage output. What could also work well is a Berserker's explosive one, but that's hard to get because it's a legacy weapon, it doesn't drop anymore. And furthermore, most legacy weapons that are available nowadays through trading or something, they are usually duped. Like, as people noticed how good they are and that they're not dropping anymore, people started to duplicate them. And at the time they were duplicated, the first time that was really a thing, the best thing was Bloodied Explosive, obviously, so you have a lot of Bloodied Explosive legacies. And only with one of the following waves they duped Junkie's explosive ones very recently. But usually the weaker, let's say weaker weapons, the weaker legacies, or less useful ones, let's say suppressors or something, are in fact rarer than the good ones, simply because people didn't go out of their way to duplicate them. Well, anyways, if you get hands on a Berserker's explosive one, it's going to be very good. So I'm just hearing a Wendigo, which I'm going to kill, and then we're going to go over the build. Okay. I just checked if... yeah. No. I thought maybe I had the Pip-Boy lights on and that's why I'm detected all the time, but it seems like it wasn't the case. So never turned on some screws. Alright, so for those of you who are just interested in the gameplay, that's about it. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go over the equipment. I'm going to show you the mutations and the buffs, and I'm going to show you the perk cards. So first thing first, our effects. As I already showed you and said to you, the addictions, I explained why. As for mutations, we have Adrenal Reaction, Bird Bones, Egghead, Healing Factor, Marsupial and Speed Demon. Basically, debuffs to strength aren't really a concern to us. Endurance, yeah, it could be a good idea to not use Egghead. It's simply to have some more intelligence to level up at least decently. What healing factor is a leftover from another build, but it's not bad at all. Simply because you spare some stimpaks when you are out of trouble. Marsupial, you want to move around very quickly and traverse the land better. Speed Demon, never a bad idea, especially on a character with guns. Perfect World, what would be good is Eagle Eyes. This could really help our character out with giving us some more perception, but we already have high perception, so it's not big of a problem. On to the equipment. As I said earlier, I do have 4 pieces of chameleon wood armor. 2 of them are already broken, and I went for low-level ones here simply because I had them on my character and they break quicker. But honestly, it doesn't it doesn't matter at all. You can have all level 45 pieces. You just need a chameleon effect. We have this one here that gives us plus intelligence and the ability to breathe underwater, and this one gives us a bit of extra agility, which is nice. As I said earlier, don't unequip them once they're broken, because you won't be able to re-equip them unless you repair them, which isn't what we want. This is our backpack. I do have the chemist backpack mod, which I need because I carry a lot of chems on this character, but that's personal preference. And unmodified radar leathers here. You can also go with the harness. Looks quite cool too. It's this is especially good if you're going for, or what means good, it's cool if you're going for a female character, but I decided to go with the long johns, the radar leathers, sorry. Oh man, I'm messing up everything now. So yeah, you can really experiment. You can make a tribal character using some different apparel pieces, but well, that's it for the equipment. And now, last thing, we're going over the perks. In strength, mandatory pick here is blocker, simply to reduce the incoming melee damage. This is a really overpowered perk, which really helps when you're not having DR. Second perk here, I choose bandolier, which this is one of those convenience perks. Choose whatever you like. I choose it because you're having pretty low strength and I'm carrying a lot of ammo, but that's up to you. Perception, you go for all ranks of commando, maxed out, tank killer and concentrated fire. You really want to go for damage in this build. Endurance, life giver and fireproof. I found that fireproof rank 2 is enough to keep you alive, and life giver, well, we have relatively low endurance and we want to have some more HP. None of those 2 is really necessary, but well, I'd say fireproof, you should have at least 2 ranks. Charisma, you only have 1 rank. If you want to go with a team, I'd use strange in numbers, but as we are not in a team, I'm just using tenderizer for basically 5% extra damage most of the time, because we have an automatic weapon. Like every consecutive hit will have +5 only once, but when you're killing an enemy, +5% damage is not all that bad. Intelligence, we're evenly split between gunsmith and batteries included, which I usually go for gunsmith 5 and 1 rank of first aid, but I needed batteries included, rank 3, in order to move on this character, and so I filled in the blanks with gunsmith. But as I said here, what you want to do in the perfect world is gunsmith 5 and 1 rank of I just said it, first aid, yes. On to agility. First perk here is dodgy, which is again really powerful. You're having a lot of agility, so if you're into trouble, if you're getting into trouble and get hit when you're below a certain not at all, like you can just avoid damage for the cost of action points. really helps when you don't have anything else. Wait a second, did I unequip? Yeah, I'm not having any. Where is it? Fuck off now. Well, interesting. Have I dropped it? Oh yeah, I dropped it earlier. Oh, come on. Am I here? Sorry, that was a little stupid by me. Well, anyways, we were at agility. Dodgy to avoid damage. Escape artist and sneak are basically mandatory for a stealth character. Covert operative on some characters I don't really use it because it's not necessary, but I feel like if you're playing such a glass cannon you really want to spec into your damage, so covert operative is not a bad choice. Light-footed, well, this is not really necessary, but I had the point left. You could use 2 ranks of Gunfu instead of 1 and ditch out light-footed, but I think it fits the character. He's probably aware about how traps work and knows they are used a lot. So, especially if you're vendor hopping, this can really be a godsend. 1 rank of Gunfu simply for the perk of it, like that you can switch between characters. We're not particularly interested in the extra damage. Well, not that we're not interested, it's always nice, but it's just for the use of it, so you can switch between targets automatically. And last thing here is Through Hiker. Yet again, one of those perks I just had to choose so I can move. You don't need it, you can use something else, but there's nothing you really need at this point. Like what you could do is Mr. Sandman, so at night you're having even more damage. Or you could instead go full on Gunfu or use adrenaline, like pick what you need. And onto luck, Bloody Mess, Starch Jeans and Serendipity. Bloody Mess, you're doing a lot of damage, you don't really need it, so you could use Class Freak instead. Starch Jeans, this is mandatory, and Serendipity, I really emphasize on using it on this character because basically all the perks that reduce damage by a percentage are really good for this character if we're getting in trouble. Well, anyways, as the sun sets, that was the video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I feel like this will be the title card, so I'm just going to go into photo mode again. And that's about it. Hope to see you next time, guys. Bye.